Welcome back to the Queen Amy Show. In today's episode, we're diving into a truly transformative conversation with a remarkable guest. Lumina is a certified quantum healer who specializes in biofield tuning with frequencies to guide her clients back to the fullness of their soul's purpose. Her unique approach combines her gifts as a psychic and quantum alchemist, helping individuals clear energy blocks, reconnect with their divine lineage, and heal across dimensions. In this powerful episode, Lumina and I explore deep healing practices specifically for veterans and others grappling with mental health and addiction challenges. We dive into an inspiring journey of energy frequency healing and EFT, or tapping as it's otherwise known, offering moments of real-time healing that you won't want to miss. Whether you're familiar with energy work or new to the idea, Lumina brings a wealth of knowledge on how tuning into your biofield can create profound shifts in well-being. So get comfortable, open your mind, take some deep breaths with us, and join in as we tap into the energy field for a journey of healing and connection. Welcome, Lumina. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Queen Amy. Loving to be here. I'm so grateful to be of service and to be interviewed by you. I deeply respect you and your path, and I'm so grateful to you. So
Thank you. To get us started here, I would love to hear a little bit about you and what you do. You do some amazing things in quantum healing and biofield tuning. So give us a little bit of an insight. What is that? And also would love to know a little bit about how you realized that this was the modality that you wanted to focus on.
Oh, thank you. Quantum healing is a powerful way of really bringing in the science behind the esoteric. So I'm a student of everything that is life and how to explain to the logical thinker why spirituality is such a powerful component to cultivating the entire essence of the individual. The mind, the body, the spirit, all of it together. To compartmentalize a person is to really not allow them to step into their radiance. And so I really like to empower others with just how incredible they are with the science behind it all. I have a decade of working as a counselor in dual diagnosis and trauma-informed centers, bachelor's in psychology, and I did that for a while, and it was beautiful. I learned so much about healing and opening that sacred space for others with the educational part, right? And I began to get into the woo-woo part when I discovered the beauty and the resonant peace that I found in my own meditative practices. And I thought, now this is the part that's missing in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to open that sacred space for so many people that are dealing and recovering from trauma, whether they were veterans, whether they were survivors of various different abuses from childhood and on, addiction and on. I mean, there was just so many incredible thousands of clients that I saw within those decades, and being able to offer them, what is it like to sit with yourself in silence? What is it like to learn to breathe and to connect with yourself and have that scientific background and the evidence-based background that was the counseling and the psychology? So it was really powerful to see the light bulbs go off on people and go, okay, you're not just telling me I've got a disease or I've got this issue that is overwhelming me. Like, there's an actual way that I can walk out of this instead of crawling out of it and trying to figure out how to piece together my day. And so I discovered biofield tuning when I started to delve deeper with my meditative practices, using the meditation bowls and sound healing. I discovered biofield tuning, which is a modality developed by Eileen McCusick. And she first introduced it back in the early 1990s, I believe it was. And that was using tuning forks to resonate and bring into homeostasis the physical, the atomic, cellular, and the subatomic body. And I thought, now that's amazing. Blew my mind, obviously. And so I delved deeper because I love to study. I discovered a Akashic Records reader years ago, and I'm also an Akashic Records reader myself. But the first one that I discovered, she read the Akashics through the tarot, and she said, one of your forms of self-love is to learn. So that's probably why you love to learn so much and become and incorporate that into your power. And I said, wow, that makes so much sense. So I started going into the quantum science part of it and discovering so much by one of the books I always like to recommend people is Punk Science, The Mind of God by Dr. Samatha Majir Lofton. She wrote this book like a novel, and she breaks down the frequency, the electromagnetic components of the individual, the toroidal field, and how the biofield itself was a term coined by the National Institute of Health in 2008, which means the entire field of the magnetic pulses given off by the body, the brain, the heart, the bones. Your bones are incredible. They hold the ability to radiate energy and magnetize energy. And so I thought, this is insane. Oh my gosh. And I like to always talk about Dr. Valerie Hunt from UCLA. She was a doctor in physics, the first woman in 1978 that actually discovered the frequencies of the human body and how the lowest frequency an individual can be at before falling into disease is 250 megahertz. And as a person begins to incorporate various meditative practices, various healing practices, breath work, yoga, meditation, proper diet, all of these things, monks and Reiki healers, they go at 800 megahertz and beyond. And I thought, wow, this only built upon what I had begun to learn from from Elaine McCusick, and I thought, okay, this is epic. I'm in, full bore, and so bringing that into practice and then becoming a certified acupressurist and all of these different modalities, that is what cultivated the quantum healing aspect of when a person comes to sit with me. It's a shamanic and a scientific approach to your empowerment of how to heal. I like to be able to let you walk away from your sessions with something tangible, something palpable that you can bring into your daily practice, so you're not just going, I need to call this healer, I need to call that healer. It's like, no, I learned these tools. I'm going to bring these tools into my daily living.
I love this. Wow, how deep. And I'm going to hyperlink some of those books and references that you mentioned so our listeners can find them and explore more if anything's exciting to them. So, as you're tapping into this and you're providing this as a service, can you explain a little bit how frequencies work in biofield tuning and how they interact with our energy fields?
Absolutely. Thank you. One of my favorite topics. I love talking about it. Just to give you an idea, there's 3 things in this world that are electromagnetic. That term means they have the capacity to magnetize as well as radiate energy, which creates us in a toroidal field. That is tourmaline crystals, quartz crystals, and your bones, the skeleton. So you are the antenna, the vortex, and the portal to your own healing. And the earth, Pachamama, Mother Gaia, gives you 432 megahertz, which sounds like this. I'm going to play a little bit for you. This is my
Oh,
emergency
please do.
kit.
I'm excited. Yeah.
My emergency kit for tuning forks is always 432 and 528, and I'll explain those deeper in a moment. But 432 has been found in science by the National Institute of Health, and there are over 14 to 15,000 studies done on the biofield. So 432, take a deep breath in and just hear that. That beautiful frequency, when your cells are given this opportunity to really tune into it. And this is why grounding is so important. Shoes off, people. Get those toes wiggling in the grass and in the sand and in the dirt. She gives you that frequency, and it's been shown in science that it regulates, brings into homeostasis the hemispheres of your brain. It brings into homeostasis the organelles in your cells. So whatever's over-functioning, under-functioning, brings it into alignment. And it brings your cortisol levels down. It's the frequency that bees hum at. It's the frequency that all natural structures like the Sphinx, the pyramids of Latin America, the pyramids, the Stonehenge also has 432 megahertz. All of these beautiful places and structures that Mother Earth gives us, that our ancestors created with her skin, her rocks, her soil, bring into absolute amplification this healing for us. And so it's already giving you medicine, right? The other frequency I love to recommend to people is 528 megahertz. And that's considered the frequency of love. It is such a beautiful frequency that when your cells are exposed to this frequency, the ionic bonds of your DNA loosen up and they begin to replicate because they feel safe. Whenever your body is in fight, flight, freeze mode, those ionic bonds tighten because they're like, oh, no, I can't replicate. I don't feel safe. I need to switch on my survival mode. Whereas 528, brings in that feeling of safety. So I'm going to let you listen to this frequency now that we kind of settled in to 432. Here we go. Taking some deep breaths in and releasing that beautiful frequency through your body. Visualizing that frequency like radiant light, nurturing you and protecting you, filling you with love, kindness, compassion for yourself.
I love this. This is so great. If you're listening at home, oh my gosh, take a moment and just, rewind it if you need to and get some more of that. That's awesome.
One of my favorite to tell people is one of the most famous songs from 528 was Imagined by John Lennon. He tuned it for that frequency to be a healing song. And another side note, artists that tuned their music to 432, Bob Marley, Jimi
I
Hendrix.
did not know this.
And John Lennon.
Wow. I had no idea about this, but one of the things that I've been really fascinated about in general, and I'm sure you've probably seen some of this too, I've got to find the name of the artist because I keep referring to her, but she's amazing. She will take petri dishes of water and she'll put them on different structures like the Stonehenge as an example, or, the Sphinx. She'll go all over the world and do this work. And she'll flash freeze the water and then photograph it. And you can see how the frequency of the location she's in, even the dirt, whatever, when she sings to it, when she says positive things to it, how the structure changes. And so there is so much power in frequency and sound. And so I'm totally a hardcore believer in the power of sound and what it can do and how it can heal and lift us up. But I had no idea that those artists did that with their music, but it doesn't surprise me. That's amazing.
Yeah, semantics are incredible. Dr. Masaru Emoto, he was the first that began to study and flash freeze the water when he isolated two different samples of water, and one sample was gifted love, words of affirmation. People would come in and pray over it. People would just come and sit and meditate around it, and he would flash freeze the samples before the individuals came in to give that loving affirmations to it and after. And it was like snowflake crystallines. And then he had the other sample that people would come in and do the complete opposite. Like they would just throw metal music or just like they say horrible words to it. Like there's like, just, I hate you, I'll kill you, all these things. And it would show the distortion and how the reverse mutation, or the mutation of those water, it was incredible. And he also took polluted water and placed it in the isolated sample room where they did loving meditations to it, and he showed how it took the polluted water and it began to cleanse itself. So that's how powerful your words and your thoughts are, because you are, just like Mother Gaia, 70% or more of water. We are literally the particles of Mother Gaia. Everything is at the quantum level particles of the greater, of the source consciousness. So just like she has 5 layers of the atmosphere, we have 7 layers of the aura. Just like she is a certain water percentage, we are a certain water percentage as well. Our core is that red lava and that fiery heart. The core of Pachamama is the fiery heart and the red lava as well, right? So you are a representation of Pachamama, and she gives us frequency because she has the medicine that you are as well.
Wow. Thank you for sharing so far. I'm just so excited about this topic and find it so important for those that are struggling with a variety of issues, especially mental health issues, to tap into this kind of work because it can be truly healing and relieving for so many people. So diving into a session with you, what can people expect? What kind of tools are you using? What kind of results can they expect? What kind of examples of methodologies are you using during a session?
This is one of my number ones, the drum. The drum is huge. At the Heart Math Institute, it was shown in many studies how, drumming has been used by all ancestral lineages since the beginning of time. And it shows that drumming medicine drops the cortisol levels, raises norepinephrine in the body, begins to open the veins and the vessels in the body where we begin to have proper flow of chi, which is your powerful meridians. We call them in Spanish the rivers of light, right? And so because you're allowing your chi flow to truly be its most effective state, there's no unresourceful people, only unresourceful states. And so when we come from different forms of trauma and survive these events in our life, our body goes into this survival mode. And when we bring in these beautiful ancestral medicines, such as the drum, such as whitus, the leaf rattles, and also gourds and rattles, all of these help the body acclimate. But at the biofield level, the scientific level, what it's doing is it releases the subtle layers of plasma that have held your light from your chakras outside of you. And your mind isn't aware of it, but your body is very aware of it. In Ayurveda medicine, they talk about how all of our diseases that we are living actually start from within. So I like to drop the person into breathing. I like to do tapping because I'm also a certified EFT and TFT. I'm certified in quantum healing hypnosis therapy as well. So I drop the person into guided meditations. I use frequency to tune you. I use also crystals to amplify that tuning into your chakras and really help you reclaim through the quantum healing hypnosis therapy, through NLP, which I'm also a certified practitioner of, and bringing in the trauma-informed safe space for you to allow you to embrace those emotions that we've suppressed or that we've become comfortably numb to.
Amazing.
So I also bring in smudges and the terpene profiles of smudge. I'm a certified plant medicine healer. I'm certified in cannabis and certified in also bringing various plant medicines to the individual, like I'm a combo practitioner and other plant medicines as well, which those who reach out we can speak to more intimately about. I do biopsychosocials on the individuals that I work with as well, because I want to get to know the individual. I want to honor your journey and what brought you to opening yourself up to these different modalities of healing. I bring in cacao, I bring in rapé, which is Amazonian snuff, which helps align the Shishumanati and the Kundalini. We say it's your spine, which is the divine highway to your soul's portals of the chakras. So you sit with me in a session when we can be very woo-woo, but also very scientific and empowering. Because like I said, I want you to walk away with tangible tools. That if you're having a hard day of anxiety or stuff is just getting to be so much, I want you to go outside and know that you can kick off your shoes, sit down with your spine against a tree that's going to give you, like the antenna of Pachamama, she gives you that 432 megahertz. And you can breathe into her and release what no longer serves you as your shoulders drop. Knowing that you can begin to tap certain parts of your body. And like just for an example, if you want to do a little bit with me, we'll do some tapping. So I like to begin to bring the person into tapping the top of their head. So you can tap a little bit with the top of the head. So for those of you that are listening at home, what we're doing here is we're addressing, it's a triple warmer. So this is addressing the governing meridians of your body. And this is also known as 100 meeting points. So if you're feeling the inner critic, the lack of focus, the gerbil wheel thinking, what this tapping does, it allows us to welcome insight, intuition, spiritual connection, focus, wisdom, spiritual discernment, and clarity. And remember that as you're doing this, you want to inhale, because emotions carry an electromagnetic pep charge. Energy is never created or destroyed. It's only changing states from this physical body into the gas, which is air, into liquid, which is tears, saliva, all of the divine fluids in the body. Bring your tapping now to the eyebrow, right where the eyebrow and the bone meet. We're now addressing the bladder meridian, which is the sacral chakra, right? We went from the root chakra to the sacral chakra. So this releases trauma, hurt, sadness, restlessness, impatience, frustration, and dread, the feelings of dread that come over us. This now welcomes in inner peace, and it welcomes in emotional healing, because we know that the second chakra is the fluids of creativity and emotions. We're going to now come to the side of the eye, and we're calling in the gallbladder meridian. So whenever we're feeling rage, anger, resentment, the fear of change, or sometimes that muddled thinking, this meridian, by addressing it, welcomes in clarity, compassion for yourself, and understanding. We're going to go now to the side, to right under the eye, which is right where the bone meets. Here we do addressing the stomach meridian. So we're going up to the Manipura, the third chakra, the throne of power, your place of power. And for those of you that are listening to us on the podcast, if you haven't begun tapping with your fingers, I welcome using your middle finger and your ring finger. These are great because you're also waking up the meridians in those fingers too. So when we're in this place, we're under the eye, we're releasing fear, anxiety, worry, emptiness, nervousness, and the feelings of disappointment. We're welcoming in contentment, calmness, feeling safe, and that it is okay to say to yourself, all is well. All is well. We're now going to go under your nose. This is a beautiful space, which is also engaging your governing meridian, but it's also connecting to your pineal gland, the vision board of your third eye. So here, as you take a deep breath in and release, we're releasing feelings of embarrassment, shame, guilt, grief, fear of ridicule, feeling powerlessness. And we're welcoming in the beautiful ability to walk into self-empowerment, self-acceptance, and compassion. Now I'm going to invite you to tap just under your lip, right above your chin, at the gum line where your teeth meet. This is now addressing the central meridian. Your body has over 365 meridians, and only 2 do not have a pair, the governing and the conceptual. The governing is the receivers of your chakras that runs from the tooth and gum meridian up here, all the way up near your nose, all the way down to your perineum, your prostate for the masculine. And the conceptual meridian is the front side of your chakras, which is the transmitters of your chakras. And here we're releasing confusion, uncertainty, embarrassment, shame, second guessing ourselves. And I know I do that. I know a lot of us do that, right? So here we're going to welcome in certainty, clarity, self-confidence. And take a deep breath in and just releasing, allowing yourself to step into your radiance with this. Now we're going to go to the collarbone, and it's this beautiful divot on the sides of the collarbone. It's a soft spot. This is addressing your kidneys and your adrenals. This is also the masculine and feminine ancestral lineage. And this holds sometimes so much shame, so much guilt, so much grief that we sometimes may not give ourselves the space to feel because life has its demands. Life doesn't have a pause button when we're grieving roles that we may have had to let go of, dreams that we may have let go of, people that have transitioned from our life that we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to. Death is the ultimate abandonment, and so grief sometimes stores in those spaces. So when we do this and we're tapping the beautiful collarbone meridians, we're allowing ourselves the ease of moving forward. We're allowing ourselves confidence and clarity. Just breathing in and allowing yourself to release that. And now we're going to go to just under the arm, 4 fingers down from under your arm. We're now at the spleen meridian, which is going up. Of course, we went from the 3rd chakra to the heart chakra. Now we're going up into the compassion chakra. And this is allowing the release of guilt, obsessive worrying, hopelessness, insecurity, and poor self-esteem. I know many of us struggle with that in today's society. Since the moment we're born, especially as feminines, we're told we're unworthy because we don't look like, we don't sound like, we're not this size. The other people have more, so this makes us feel the unworthiness. For the masculines, the same thing. Our men are so wounded nowadays. And so releasing this meridian is so empowering. This welcomes in at this meridian when we tap and address it. We bring in clarity, confidence, relaxation, compassion for ourselves and others. And then the last one we're going to go to is right at the rib cage, right under your nipples. We have the liver meridian, one of the most powerful filtration systems of your body. Releasing anger, depression, impatience, short-temperedness, hatred, jealousy, insecurity, attachments. Ooh, those strong opinions, they store in there because they build up that anger. You know, and right now with so much going on in this world, the chaos, our elections are coming up right now. There's so much duality. And this timeline is all about duality. It's all about teaching us how to step into our radiance with love and see if we can ascend the consciousness of duality, right? Now we're welcoming in the drive, planning, starting skills, and endurance to not self-sabotage, to see our projects through. Mental clarity, ambition, and patience. I love that. We need so much more patience and grace with ourselves.
I sure do.
Yeah, so now if you feel good, you can shake off your hands. We store our pathogens in our joints. As my teachers from Chinese acupressure would say to us, you know, it's like, this is where we leave a lot of our illnesses are in our joints. And then it goes into the soft tissues of our muscles and our skin. And just kind of roll your shoulders. Feel how your body feels a little easier breathing now that you addressed your powerful meridians.
Oh my gosh, it actually does. For you at home, like go back, try this again because it legit, I just took a really deep breath and wow, that was a lot of air. So, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you for leading us through that. What a treat, an unexpected treat for this particular episode. And I'm so grateful that you did that. So what is this practice called?
EFT, emotional
EFT.
freedom tapping.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so is this something that people would do daily, weekly? Okay.
Absolutely. Your meridians, when I learned being certified as an acupressurist, your meridians have a daily clock. Every 2 hours, your meridians need to be addressed and just kind of like given some love because we are interdependent to all the energies around us. As I spoke about earlier, that biofield, we are the electromagnetic field that is 4.5 to 6 feet around us. So we are in constant magnetic exchanges with others, and those are with people, places, and things. Everything has an akashic frequency, an amplification of frequency to it. So psychic attacks come to us by 3 ways: ourselves, the environment, and others. That means it's going to affect our biofield, and that affects our ability to have those meridians flowing, the chakras in alignment, to read accurately what am I engaging with. And so the EFT practice allows us to let that chi flow move. And the quantum releases that some of you may have been feeling at home if you were doing this practice, because energy doesn't destroy, it's never destroyed or created, it only changes shape. Quantum healing shows up in the body by tears, by saliva, by burps, by yawns, by gurgling in your tummy. That means your stomach meridian, your throne of power, was moving some energy. You know, if you felt like you needed to move your joints according to what joints you felt called to move, you were quantum releasing your heart chakras, your throat chakra. You know, all of these meridians. You're so radiant. You created this incredible elemental capsule for your spirit particle to travel in this timeline through. And so all of these practices are brought to you so that you can see just how powerful you are when you give yourself that space of 10 minutes a day of breath work, of tapping, of listening to frequencies, of sitting with your favorite crystals. Crystals have various elementals that your body is already reading at the electromagnetic level and saying, I kind of need this to support me right now. So when you're drawn to crystals, it's not woo-woo. It's your body actually saying, I need that tiger's eye because it has more iron in it, and my iron's kind of depleted right now.
Wow. Wow. In terms of like mental health, you know, those that are really struggling with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, of course, there's so much of that right now.
Yes.
Attention issues, you know, where then they go into this negative loop of not feeling worthy or not feeling good enough because they're distracted all the time and they can't focus. You know, how does this help those particular people that are struggling with some of those issues?
It's oftentimes through trauma. We can look at it at the physical level, the cellular level. It creates a distortion in the cells. When the body goes into fight, flight, freeze mode, the body shuts down digestive processing. It shuts down the respiratory. It shuts down the ability to function and have critical thinking. So the prefrontal cortex goes into like, whoa, I got to figure out how to get out of this in a safe space. The prefrontal cortex itself takes up about 33% of what you consume of resources for your brain. It is the most sophisticated part of the brain. The limbic system was the first part. That was the caveman. That was like, there's a dinosaur running after me, I gotta book it. You know?
Yeah.
That's the fight, flight, freeze. But as the human brain began to develop through time, and the nervous system, it began to develop these more sophisticated areas, right? Basal ganglia, the midbrain, all of these beautiful spaces. And the prefrontal cortex is in charge of 5 basic human forms of engaging, which is critical thinking, social context, which is how do I react in a social setting, right? Internal context, how I'm feeling something, this is what I'm actually feeling. When a person's in trauma, it's shut off. Their feelings are suppressed. They're feeling stuff, but their body's going, and they're just like, I don't know what's going on. I just got to get out of here because I don't know what's happening, right? It's also the ability to have focus, too. The prefrontal cortex brings us the ability to sit with ourselves and to focus and to problem solve. And so that prefrontal cortex gets really, really a whooping when we deal with trauma, when we deal with trauma and addiction, especially, right? Because the various ways in which we absorb knowledge to keep us in survival mode are solidified with various neurotransmitters like glutamate. And instead of taking care of ourselves with food, with carrying on our DNA and with being able to function properly, right, in the daily living, the survival mode trumps all of those needs, and it gets solidified with glutamate as the most important choice. So your ability to take care of yourself through eating, through making the appropriate choices with partners. You know, sometimes we just want that touch, and we don't really make an idea of like, wow, is this person going to be good for me or
Yeah.
not?
Or
Right?
even the power of like energy transfer. That's the other thing that I just learned so much about going through
Yes.
my own healing journey where I'm like, holy moly, like all these people I'm touching or allowing in my space or hanging out with, or
Yes.
like I didn't realize the power of energy transfer, but I started taking inventory of how I felt when I went into a room. Because right now I feel great. Like I've done all this work, I feel
Yeah.
amazing, I'm happy. And I was going into my old life, right, when I came back from my
Mhm.
retreat and I was hanging out with the same old people. And when I would go into a room, I was feeling great. But then I would go into this room and all of a sudden I'd be like, whoa, why am I getting like anxiety? Why
Yes.
am I feeling weird? Why am I feeling like
Yes.
sad all of a sudden or upset? I didn't realize the power of energy transfer until I finally, for the first time in my life, got to a place where I felt cleared out and good and happy. And then I realized these people I'm hanging out with that were from my old life, like they are so full of unresolved trauma and
Mm.
issues and drama and struggles and addiction, etc. And that makes me feel like crap. And
Yeah.
so now I'm really picky with where I'm spending my time and energy because I'm realizing just how true and real and powerful that energy transfer is.
Absolutely. You brought up a really fabulous point to look at and really take a deep breath for all of us that are listening. Take a deep breath, and when you walk into a room, check yourself. Like my old medicine man would say, do a gut check. Do a gut check. Alan Wolfkill, I love him. He's from the Lakota Oglala Sioux Nation. And it's literally do a gut check. Your
Mm.
Manipura, your third chakra, or your heart chakra is going to say, ooh, I'm not vibing this place. Or, oh, this place feels good. Because you are electromagnetically picking up the frequency of the
Mm.
individuals and the setting itself. Remember, environment has frequency also. And so thank you for recognizing that in yourself. And many of us that have survived trauma and addiction suppress it because we had to be in survival mode. We had
Mm.
to push through, whether we had severely abusive and abandoning childhoods that our our body and our system was saying something's not right, and we were getting messages from our caretakers that, oh, you don't, what you're seeing is not true, what you're feeling is not true. When mom reaches for that pill, container in the medicine cabinet, and you hear the rattle, that kid goes, mom's about to change, right? And the other parent or the co-parent or maybe the siblings that have also learned to be gifted this role of survival, unfortunately, just assimilated and became co-addicts or co-dependent or dependent personalities to that addiction or that trauma just to survive, right? Because we don't have the ability to go, I'm kicking rocks, I don't like this popsicle stand anymore, I'm going to
Yeah,
survive
I'm
on
getting
my
out of
own.
here, right?
We don't get that opportunity as kids. We learn to just suppress, right? Or when we're in these traumatic situations and we're forced to be in them, we don't have the ability to leave. For
Mm.
those veterans that have been in active combat and active, seeing what it is like to be in the front lines or to be in the hero missions or to be in various, roles that they've had to do. They had
Yeah.
to suppress. They didn't get the opportunity.
Or even
And
just like
so,
when they get back into society, it's like they spent, and this is so true for me too. I spent all this time over in Afghanistan and then I come home and I've got this new baby that I was away from for a year. And it's like, oh yeah, I have a newborn baby that I have to take care of. And, at the time I was married. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to go back into being a wife. And this is true for all the veterans returning. Like they're in these war environments that they just sustain so much trauma, or even if they're not necessarily in war, but like they're in these really highly regimented environments where they're getting yelled at all the time and everything has to be just so. It's traumatic for people. And then to come out of those environments and go back into regular society, it's overnight. There's no transition period.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're back and you're unresolved trauma, and here, take some medications, and here, take some Ambien to help you sleep, and here, maybe go to talk therapy and relive it over and over and over. And that's proven to not be effective for so many people. So I hear you loud and clear about the environments and the trauma that people sustain, and it's just like it's unresolved and it builds up, and then that's how these issues like anxiety and depression are born. It's just unresolved, uncleared out trauma, and they need to recalibrate and do some of this type of work.
Yeah, absolutely. And incorporating these beautiful modalities into one's own daily practice, whether it is just going to spaces that, like, I run Sweat Lodge also. I'm a Temascalera. I honor the ways of my ancestors by bringing in Sweat Lodge. And that is a powerful form of healing also. And doing things like smudging. Why do smudges work for people? Why? Because this is helping you. It's releasing the terpene profile inside of this beautiful smudge, like Palo Santo, sage, basil, rosemary. All of them have one of the most beautiful terpenes is humulin. Humulin has been shown in studies that it goes into the body. It has such a beautiful intellect and such a beautiful consciousness. It identifies cancer cells. It clamps down onto cancer cells, and it does not allow it to find a blood source to propagate. Mm-hmm. And so it brings down the cortisol level in the individuals. Bringing in practices like cacao, sitting with cacao 30 days in a row is considered a dieta by my medicine teachers. And what that does is it has 3 cannabinoids that help your body reduce depression naturally.
Wow.
Naturally. It brings in blissful molecule of anandamide. It brings in 2-AG, which is a construction worker of your brain. That's amazing. When your brain has suffered brain injuries, whether it's physical or emotional, it registers in the same place. In the limbic system, your brain can't tell the difference. If it was an actual blow, or if someone just hurt you so bad that you register it as trauma, and it begins to reduce blood flow to certain spaces of the brain, especially the amygdala, the emotional switchboard of your brain, right? When you bring in cacao, and you've had like these beautiful medicines, when you've experienced trauma, let me backtrack. When you've experienced trauma, your brain juices anandamide and 2-AG. Anandamide is the bliss molecule to try to soften the blow. The 2-AG goes in as a construction worker and goes, all right, guys, puts on the hard hat, let's go. And starts breaks down different neurotransmitters that are in the brain, that are in the area, and it breaks it down and it begins to flow to that space. And then FAAH, which is fatty acid amide hydrolase, is released to break down the 2-AG and redistribute them. Because your body's amazing and it's efficient and it's incredible. What cacao has been shown in studies to do is it allows the FAAH to not be released as often. So instead of having peaks and valleys of healing, back to normal, healing, back to normal, it gives you slopes. So you're constantly juicing the 2-AG, the anandamide as well. So that's what helps in releasing and relieving the depression in individuals without using medication.
I'm constantly amazed by how effective these natural medicines, these natural plants and modalities are that Western society today has just almost erased from culture. I look at content like How to Change Your Mind, which is a series on Netflix and a book by Michael Pollack, and he explored an Indigenous community that went through an episode where there was a member of the community in the Indigenous tribe that had been struggling with addiction and some other issues, and he reached out to his tribe and asked for a sweat lodge, and they did peyote as a sacrament, and they did this whole experience with him, this ceremony where he left the ceremony like just feeling completely recalibrated and healed, where he was able to sit with his community in that healing space and be surrounded by supportiveness and just a new reset, a blank slate to start over. And the episode just shows him thriving. And some of these practices that you offer, like the sweat lodge and some of the medicines that you offer, and the Biofield tuning and all of that, these are really incredible modalities. And it's one of the reasons why I even have my show now, is just to talk about them, because the stuff that Western society, the VA, told me when I was reporting, hey, I'm really having a hard time mentally, it was, here, take these pharmaceuticals, go home, be isolated, maybe come back and talk about the same issues, the same drama in an hour-long session weekly for the next couple of months, right? None of these factors were healing. None of them helped. They barely masked the issue. And in fact, in some cases, like with the sleeping medication, the Ambien, it made it worse. And so it wasn't until I found these alternative healing modalities where I found true relief for the first time in my life, after exploring for literally a decade. I had no healing. And so I look at this content, like I said, like the series by Michael Pollock, and it really makes me so interested in natural community, proven, age-old, centuries-old, before we even know the timeline on things like Sweat Lodge and some of these indigenous tribes and their communities. So I'm so grateful that you are here reflecting this incredible medicine, this powerful healing, and these modalities that are just age-old and proven, not only for your own community, but to offer them to our Western society is another way. Like it's truly profound. Yeah, huge thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I absolutely love to be of service to humanity in this capacity. Just there's so many ways that we can heal, and we don't need to go to the pharmaceuticals. We don't need to use those. I mean, just combo alone, which is one of the favorite medicines that I serve. It's one of the most powerful medicines I serve, aside from the other sacraments. Combo, it's legal in every country except
And
for
what is
Austria.
it? Just for our listeners that are not familiar.
Oh, combo. I love combo. Combo, I've been so blessed to be serving this sacred medicine, and it is the wax of the Falamedusa bicolor frog from the Amazon. And it was downloaded to Pachucambu, who was a medicine man of the Matsis tribe, while he was in an ayahuasca ceremony. His tribe was falling very ill, and at the time they only had ayahuasca. They didn't know any other medicines that they could serve his people. And he said, please, grandmother, show me how to help my people. And she showed him. She had him get up, go into the jungle, find the beautiful frog, and showed him how to extract the wax from the body and how to apply it by burning the gates with a tamishi vine on the individual. And it's, for those of you who can see, you might be able to see, but I use dragon's blood on them, so it reduces scarring, and it's incredible. So, but you burn the gates, just the first layer, and then you apply the wax from the toad and from the frog. And what it does is it has 11 short chain amino acid peptides that your body already creates. This is why it's not illegal anywhere, because it has the same consistency biochemically of saliva. So these short chain amino acid peptides are the building blocks for long chain amino acid peptides of protein. And combo will be kick-starting your own body's healing. What does that look like? When you have a microbe or a virus, what does your body do? Gives you a fever, burns it out, right? When you've eaten something that doesn't settle well with your powerful manipura, your stomach chakra, what does it do? Pukes it out, right? The same thing happens. It kickstarts your body. It kickstarts the ATP process in the mitochondria. It begins to stimulate the nervous system, begins to stimulate the muscles, begins to stimulate all of this, the organs in the body, and you can literally speak to your medicine. I always encourage my journeyers, have conscious purging. Speak to the spirit of the frog. The frog is always here to support you. And you can say to her, Combo, please, I'm done with this trauma. I'm done with this ache. I'm done with this. It's shown as to be an effective alternative treatment for trauma, PTSD, extreme PTSD, for all autoimmune diseases like Lyme disease. Also, it's incredible. It can reduce, and it helps also with herpes. Helps also with so many diseases that science has said, no, you'll never find a cure for these things, right? For depression, anxiety, it's a treatment. It's not a one and done with combo. You're not going to walk out of there going like, oh, just beating your chest on the, beating your chest as if it's all incredible. It's going to be a treatment because we get sick in layers. We heal in layers. And your
Are there a number of sessions that you would recommend for someone where they might feel true healing?
Absolutely. Yes. So it's been shown in anecdotal studies and through what I've also said in my personal too as well. 3 sits with combo in 1 lunar cycle is considered an inoculation for diseases and viruses. And we're coming up on cold season right now. So I'm having a lot of sits with a lot of my beautiful people because they know it's coming up, right? So that alone helps with that. For people that are dealing with autoimmune diseases or trauma, I say give yourself at least a good 5 sits with combo. Then you'll begin to feel that lessening of or the eradication of those diseases that we're walking in hoping that combo is going to help us with, right? And so give yourself that space. Some people can tolerate 2 sits in 1 month with combo. Some people can tolerate one after another day. It all depends on how you metabolize it. It's about having an educated facilitator that's going to take the time to get to know you by doing a biopsychosocial, get to know your understanding of how you're going to metabolize this medicine. Once you do your first initial sit, I always do the lowest, most effective dose when it comes to people that are like having blood pressure issues and such of that sort as well, or diabetes. Diabetes 1 has been shown to be helped with combo 2 because I don't want to overwhelm their system, but I'm going to give you the highest dose possible without doing any damage to your body. And I don't want to re-traumatize you. So I sit with the person to get to know them. I get as an energy healer and as a Reiki master. I also sit with how your body is aligning at the chakra level, and we go from there. So it can be a sit of 3 gates to 5 gates, sometimes more, depending on the individual. And yeah.
Wow. I love learning about all of these modalities that are just, like I said, it's just not so available to our Western society. So thank you for sharing about combo. That's amazing. Can you share any examples of clients that you've had? I know you've been doing this for a long time that are just profound stories that stand out to you about maybe struggles that they were dealing with, of course, and the limitations of what you can share, and then what you did with them and then their results of healing, if you'd be willing to share just a couple examples.
Absolutely. I mean, we can go into just the biofield thing alone. Sweeping the biofield is a powerful form of tapping into your past lives and any soul contracts you've made at that time also. So when it comes to your chakras, and I spoke about this earlier, your chakras are columns of light which are interpreting the world around you. When we've had these exchanges with individuals, whether in this timeline or beyond, sometimes those exchanges leave us with these, oh, that was heavy. Or, oh, I'm going to make this soul contract with my mom to stay invisible because she's dealing with her stuff and I can't be bothered. I can't bother her or my father or whatever it is. And so we shrink ourselves. This ultimately leaves an impression on our chakras to not allow us to step into our power, to maybe not use our voice to speak our needs, our wants, our desires, to not allow us to accept love and to remain small in relationships. Well, that light gets pulled out of you and it remains in your biofield. The biofield is made out of free-floating ions that create this plasma layer around you. And so it will trap those particles of light that you have that have pulled out, and it creates this bubble in the biofield. So as I'm biofield tuning the individual, I use various frequencies and I'm sweeping the biofield. And I find the bubble, and oftentimes the person that is going to be 4.5 feet or sometimes 2 feet away from me, I'm going to say, okay, I found a bubble. Where is this registering in your body? Whoa, I feel that on my left knee. I feel it on my right foot. Why is my right foot tingling? Why is my hip tingling? Why is it? Let's talk about that. Okay, so each joint will have a chakra that's considered to be connected to. Each chakra has a dimensional field that it's connected to in your aura. Your aura is 2.5 feet to 3 feet around you. So I've done some tremendous reverse of the ailments and the physical kind of stiffness that happens in the body as a result of biofield tuning. Why? Because we have the fascia. For those of us that are meat eaters, I'm vegan, but I used to be a meat eater. I don't eat my homies nowadays. So that's up to each individual to do on their path. But for those of us that have prepared things like chicken, you may have noticed that when you cut open the chicken, you have this white thin layer that's called the fascia. And science in the medical field used to just easily rip right through it and not care about it. Well, people like Dr. Robert Schlepp and Tom Myers began to look into it and found that the fascia has proprio and interoceptivity. So there's receptors that are reading the outside world, right, and the inside world of the individual. Now, if you just imagine placing your hand up to a flame and how quickly your hand pulls away, right? And versus when we are internally feeling stuff. What they found in studies that there is 1-to-7 ratio. One receptor engaging on the outside world. 7 receptors engaging on the internal world. The fascia is made up of 3 different things: collagen, fibroblasts, and water. There's no veins, there's no nerves going to it. Now, when they found that those receptors are engaged with your emotional internal world, say you wake up and go, oh my God, I stubbed my toe. This is going to be a shitty day. Forgive my English, my French there.
That's okay.
Well, guess what? Those receptors just said, all right, ladies, you heard her. Let's tighten it up. The collagen, the fibroblasts, and the water become thixotropic in the fascia and begin to make it really hard on your back or your hips or your knees, because you said it's going to be a shitty day, so we're going to make your body look like it and feel like it because of those 7 receptors that are pointing inward.
I keep telling my friends, I'm like, there is so much power in your tongue, your thoughts, the things that you say. You have to be so mindful with your words and your thoughts, because it will manifest. It will come true. It will show up in one way or another. And so, wow, keep going. This is amazing.
just like those studies from Dr. Masaru Emoto, and also the water. It has that memory. Hydrogen, oxygen has that memory to it. And so your body is already registering that emotion way more powerfully than you're engaging on the outside. So when I'm doing biofield tuning and sweeping your biofield with the frequency, oh my God, you better believe that subtle layer of plasma around you is very attuned to what your physical body at the cellular, atomic, and subatomic level are feeling. And so biofield tuning alone is an incredible and very exquisite and elegant way of helping the individual become realigned. And oftentimes when I'm in the biofield tuning with you, I'm reading your Akashic records, and your soul tribe is talking to me in my right ear. My soul tribe is on my left ear, and clear cognizance drops in through my crown chakra. So they're giving me like little nudges and going, okay, tell my beloved, because we're the beloveds up here in this timeline to them up there, that they need to be more gentle with themselves and reduce their intake of this. Or maybe they're storing some metal in their basal ganglia. They've got to start doing this practice, this breath work, this yoga, to be gentler with themselves. Because I love you and I want you to have the most incredible journey in this timeline. And so I'm here to help you, and Lumina's going to let you know what sometimes you may not have heard that I've whispered to you through your chakras. You know?
Yeah.
And so Biofield is incredible. I absolutely love serving people with that. So some incredible healing has been done with that, whether it's helping an individual release that pain and that grief, or those soul contracts show up as repeated patterns and behaviors with individuals. Like, okay, I thought I got over this in therapy 10 years ago. Why is this happening with another person? Different guy, different timeline. What the hell? I thought I fixed that already. Or why is it so difficult to relate to my mom or my dad or my aunt or my uncle or my kid? What is it that this same thing keeps coming up? Biofield tuning, Akashic Records help us look into that. Because we're tapping into the subtle body.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
For someone that's new to this space, to energy healing, what would you recommend as a first step to explore this kind of work?
Okay, so one thing I love to impart to my beautiful clients and journeyers is listening to frequencies. Binaural beats are powerful. There was a study shown that they took a sample of individuals that were dealing with addiction and trauma, and they isolated two separate samples, right? So the first sample was given 12-step and group therapy, the regular narrative talk group therapy. Joseph Yalom, love him, talked about the benefits of it, yes. But I find that it's very circular. I'm sick, I'm not good enough, it's my problem, God's teaching me an issue, God, it's always about like taking culpability for it instead of taking empowerment from it, right? And so they gave that particular sample this. The other sample, they said 15 to 20 minutes of listening to theta waves, which is between 4 to 8 megahertz. Theta has been shown to be a brain wave in which your brain goes into where it's the most hypnotic state. There's beta, alpha, theta, and gamma,
Delta.
I believe is the other one. So delta, yes, thank you. Delta. And so the beta is the working brain. You've got the working brain. The relaxed brain is like working but still kind of chilling. The theta is hypnotic. And then delta is when you're anesthetized and you're just like, peace out, right? Theta is when you do the most healing. And that's when most of the synapses and the neurons are the myelin sheath is being repaired. The ability to connect communication between the neurons is helped. They showed after 6 months, the relapse rate of self-sabotaging behaviors and substance abuse was up to 80% in the 12-step and talk narrative therapy sample group, and it was only 20% in the theta wave group. So if you can sit yourself, or even before you go to bed, drop into some theta waves before you go to bed. You do most of your homeostatic repair at the cellular level is in sleep. So your brain also does most of its problem solving in sleep. So when you give yourself the theta frequency, you're helping your body in so much healing that it's already going to be slipping into when sleeping. And it helps you drop into sleep more. For those of us that are trauma and survivors and addiction, sleeping is already hard enough sometimes, right? The flooding, the thoughts that come up that create such difficulty sleeping. The theta helps you drop into it, right? So being able to do theta healing for yourself with that, breath work, phenomenal. Tapping, phenomenal. There's a lot of information you can find on the internet and on YouTube of tapping practices you can do.
Wow. And what I love about these recommendations from you is all of these things are free. So there's really no excuse for someone who's struggling to sit in struggling unless you really want to sit in struggling, because there's all these resources, as you just mentioned, tapping, listening to Binaural Girl, I'm probably saying that wrong, beats. There's a lot of different things on YouTube that are available for free. Breathwork is free. Just sitting there and going through a breathwork exercise. You can find guided meditations and guided breathwork practices on YouTube. These are all free resources. So incredible recommendations. And we just have a couple minutes left here. So I just want to dive into some kind of more rapid fire questions here. The first being, if someone's in crisis, really struggling mentally, and they're not really sure, if they're going to see tomorrow or not, and they're just having a really bad day. What's a tip or something that you would recommend for them to do immediately to shake themselves out of that?
Definitely reach out to any hotlines. If you have the ability to, and if you feel the ability to speak to someone that's safe for you. Number one. Number two, take a break. Tell whatever is overwhelming your system, say, I need to take a moment. Can we table this? Or even redirect. Also shift your body away from them, because again, you're interpreting the information energetically from individuals. Cross your arms and shift your torso away from them. Take a deep breath in, walk away, separate yourself from the situation. Also do some breathing, deep breaths. Deep breaths. The only difference between panic and excitement is a breath. Carl Jung said that. Take a deep breath, because it takes you out of the survival of rapid breathing, right? Take a deep breath in and release in the exhale. Even open up that throat and go, ah. Whew. Start tapping. One of my favorite places is tapping your sternum. Right here at the clavicle, it's your thalamus. That also happens to be your 8th chakra, your compassion chakra. It's right over your immune system. Science showed us that once you pass puberty, the blood flow in that area automatically reduces. So tapping here is excellent, right? Breathing and tapping. Whew. I just gotta breathe. Get yourself outside. Sit against a tree. Kick your shoes off. Start getting 432 megahertz. Breathing in. Listen to the wind. Listen to the leaves. Touch the soil, which is grounding. Begin counting 10 to 1. 10, 9, 8, 7. That's grounding also. Tactilely touching things snaps you out of the trauma response, because it lets you know, oh, I'm safe right now. I'm not in that traumatic situation. I'm going to be okay. Even say to yourself, I'm going to be okay right now. I'm going to be okay. I accept what I'm feeling right now. I let it go. I gift it back to whoever wounded me. I gift it back to you, because you're teaching me to self-care. Thank you.
Powerful.
Have a drink of cacao. Have some walnuts. That's another way to feed your endocannabinoid system. We have a cannabinoid. Every mammal has an endocannabinoid system to the phytocannabinoids of plants. Walnuts, hemp seeds, cacao. All of these things are powerful. Get some fatty, delicious foods like avocado in you. Your brain needs it. Your brain runs off of carbohydrates. So you need that to help your body heal as well. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Frequency travels through your body 4 times faster in water. And sometimes speaking words of kindness and affirmation, as we know by different studies that we talked about here, are the ways that we begin to repair our body as well. Release those negative thoughts. Release them into the ethers. Give them back. And speak kindly to yourself with softness. Allow people to show up for you with love. Say, I need a hug. I need to be small right now. Can you be big for me?
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. So many great recommendations in there. One of my favorites is one of the last things you said there. When I went through my healing retreat recently, I've always been in fight or flight mode my entire life, and especially coming from the military, I'm a very, very independent woman. And one of the things that my facilitator, my healer, said in the experience, she said, ask for what you need. And she was relating it initially to the fact that me and the 10 other women I went through the plant medicine retreat with were all in a state of vulnerability, right? Where we were kind of we were in the medicine, we were relying on our healers and our facilitators to work with us and give us what we needed, like water and take us to the restroom and things like that to help us out while we were in the medicine. But she's like, no, I mean this broader, in general, in life. ask for what you need. You can't do it all by yourself all the time. And those of you that try are probably doing so from a place of trauma. And, it's okay to ask a friend for help. It's okay to reach out to a hotline, as you mentioned. It's okay to ask somebody to just step in and to take over for you for a minute. Release the reins, let go of control. Ask for what you need and it will come, it will be given. And I now have that as kind of like a staple affirmation for myself, that it's okay to ask for what I need. And it's really powerful and healing. So thank you for sharing those amazing recommendations. And then the last question I have for you is, where can people find you? You are so full of wisdom and obviously offer such amazing healing resources and experiences and modalities for people that could really use you. I'd love to learn more about how they can connect with you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for restating that importance of resources don't have to cost money. We have the ability to also find many free resources. If you would like to connect with me, it is my honor to serve you. I am Soul Healing Energy. My website is www.soulhealing.energy. And my Instagram, Soul Healing Energy, as well. I'm based here in Los Angeles. I run temazcals and do a lot of my healing sessions here. I do community combo sits every month as well, here at the Casa de Healing. It's called Casa de Healing. You're based in Los Angeles, East LA. This is your home as well, like we say in Spanish. Mi casa es su casa. My home is also your home. So you're welcome to come and sit, sweat with us. Come and just drop in for a sound bath. Drop in for, I do shamanic drumming courses as well, and teach people how to sit with rapé and cultivate a sacred space for yourself with that beautiful Amazonian plant medicine as well, that's non-psychedelic, as well as the other sacraments that I serve too. And if you'd like more information about that, reach out.
Amazing. Thank you. And I cannot forget, we are a show that is full of charitable elements. So do you have any charities that you would love to shout out while we're on the show? I'll hyperlink them below.
Yes, please, please, please reach out to the Mind Wisdom Project. They are an organization that is guarding and safely taking care of our elders and the Mayan traditions and our wisdoms that are so needed in today's society. They offer beautiful cacao, which is one of the medicines I talked about here. I love cacaocito, blessed Mama Cacao. She's brought so much healing for us. And the Mayan Wisdom Project also helps you get in touch with your Nahuatl, which is your Mayan name, your spirit name. For instance, as a Mexica woman, my spirit name is Xiuhcoatl, Ehecahuitzilli, which is a beautiful turquoise snake, the hummingbird of the wind. And in Mayan, I am Xiuhcoatl, which is this feathered serpent. And knowing your Nahuatl, your spirit name, truly gives a lot of direction and purpose and helps us put together so many pieces of how we show up today. So the Mayan Wisdom Project allows you that space to kind of go, oh, no wonder I'm this way. Pues that makes so much sense. Because you chose, as a radiant star being that you are, the stargate you were born under, the sign, your ancestral lineage, all of these things are how you chose to come into the frequency of this timeline. So the Mayans have this beautiful calendar that the Mayan Wisdom Project will give you a little insight to. So
Wow. Amazing. What an incredible episode for sure. I so appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us, your healing experience and your modalities with us. I cannot wait to come and have my own experience with you at a sweat lodge here in Los Angeles so soon. Thank you so much. Listeners, please reach out to her and get some more healing for yourselves. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
thank you, sister. Be well.
Hey, you! Did you make it all the way through the episode? You are a rock star. Thank you so much for listening. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment. It helps me out so much, grow the channel so more people like you can access this content to learn more about psychedelics and spirituality. Thanks again for listening. I'll catch you next time.